Let's start with the ones that were shocking and slowly work our way toward the most terrifying spy weapons ever created. Number 9. The Rectal Toolkit. Easily the worst spy device ever engineered in human history. Not because of what it was meant to do, but because of where it was meant to be stored. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. During the Cold War, CIA officers were issued a hollow metal capsule, packed with tools that could help them escape captivity or neutralize targets if everything went horribly wrong. Inside this capsule, you could find miniature saw blades, tiny knives, a shark tooth, lip balm for some reason, and even an extra pair of socks. Apparently the designers were aiming for comfort, not compactness, despite the storage location. What makes the Rectal Toolkit so hilarious is not just the fact that someone had to carry this thing in the most uncomfortable way imaginable, but that there's not a single documented case of the toolkit ever being used successfully. Imagine being a spy, walking around with this thing inside you for years, mentally prepared to use it, only for life to never demand that level of suffering from you. Truly the most dedicated and least appreciated device on this list. Number 8. The Glove Gun. Easily one of the coolest weapons ever invented. A single-shot pistol that was mounted directly onto a leather glove, originally issued to U.S. Navy intelligence officers in World War II, and later shamelessly copied by the KGB. On the back of the glove was a trigger bar, and when you punched someone, the impact would depress the bar, fire the pin, and send a bullet straight into the target. Brutally simple and beautifully dramatic. Of course, this thing had problems. First, you needed a good punch, not a slap, not a graze, an actual solid hit. Second, the punch needed to land somewhere vital. Third, the glove only existed for right-handed users. So if you were left-handed, sorry, you're sitting this mission out. Maybe grab a Rectal Toolkit instead. Unsurprisingly, there are no recorded cases of the glove gun ever being used in a real operation. Either spies didn't punch enough people in the face, or no one wanted to risk missing and looking ridiculous. Number 7. Pencil Bomb. During World War I, German spies used slim metal cylinders the size of cigars, sealed with wax at both ends. Inside were two different acids separated by a copper divider. By adjusting the thickness of the divider, spies could delay the chemical reaction by hours or even days. Once the acids finally ate through the barrier and mixed together, they would heat up, melt the wax, and ignite whatever the device touched. These pencil bombs were slipped into American warships while they were docked, and days later, when the ships were far out at sea, the devices would finally erupt into flame. This destroyed supplies, created confusion, and sometimes triggered full fires on board. Over 36 ships were hit by these devices, resulting in millions of dollars in lost wartime material. Essentially, these were the world's first delayed fire griefing tools. Number 6. Concealment Weapon. When you imagine spies taking out their enemies, you probably think of disguised weapons, guns hidden inside everyday objects. And you'd be right, because concealment weapons were everywhere throughout the Cold War. But instead of telling you about each one, let's put you inside the world of espionage. It's the height of the Cold War. Your mission: eliminate Sergei Sergeyevsky, a notorious graphics card reseller who has been destabilizing the global GPU market. You arrive at a bar to wait for him. The bartender asks what you want. If you order water or nothing, congratulations, you're the kind of person who ruins the vibe at every gathering. But before your target arrives, you step outside for a smoke. You realize you're out of cigarettes, but a stranger offers you one. If you say no, you die. If you say yes, you die. Because he is carrying a cigarette pack gun, created by the KGB, a tiny concealed firearm hidden inside what looks like a harmless smoke pack. The only right answer was never smoking to begin with. Next scenario, your pager goes off, telling you your target is nearby. As you rush to get to him, you stop because an elderly woman is crossing the road. If you wait, you're terrible. If you help her, you die. Because she was carrying a cane gun, a multi-shot weapon disguised as a harmless walking cane, used by the SOE, the CIA, and the KGB. The lipstick gun, called the Kiss of Death, was used by female KGB agents, firing a single bullet from what looked like lipstick. The flashlight gun looked like a normal flashlight but fired multiple shots. North Korean agents even used one as recently as 20. Number 5. Chemical Poisoning. The worst way to be taken out by enemy spies isn't a bullet or a bomb, it's a chemical agent. Not just because of how excruciating the effects are, but because of the humiliating methods spies use to deliver them. Imagine being eliminated by a doorknob you touched. Chemical agents could be placed on clothing, cups, pens, handles, or even brushed onto skin and passed. The use of chemical poisons became so common that global treaties were formed to outlaw them, but countries like North Korea simply said nah, and kept using them. Russia also signed the treaty but later claimed innocence when two active intelligence officers poisoned an ex-Russian spy in the UK in 20. According to Russia, they were definitely involved but also somehow not responsible at all. Very reassuring. Number 4. The umbrella. To understand how terrifying and subtle spy weapons could be, imagine this scenario. You're waiting at a bus stop, you feel a quick sting on your thigh, you turn around and see a stranger who apologizes for dropping his umbrella. Minutes later, he's picked up by a car and disappears. Hours later, you get a fever. Days later, you're fighting for your life in a hospital bed, unable to breathe, and that's when you die, never knowing what actually happened. This isn't fiction, it's the real story of Georgy Markov. He was a Bulgarian writer who defected to the West and criticized Bulgaria's communist regime. The regime, feeling particularly sensitive, sent an assassin who fired a tiny ricin pellet, just 1.5 mm in size, into Markov's leg using a modified umbrella. The wound was so small, it looked like a pimple. Ricin is one of the deadliest toxins on Earth, and Markov didn't stand a chance. The only reason we even know about this umbrella weapon is because Markov described the sting to authorities before he died. Number 3. The pen. This isn't the type of pen you use to sign a receipt. This one was discovered in 2011 by South Korean intelligence. It belonged to a North Korean spy who was sent to assassinate a defector. At first glance, it looked totally normal, something you'd pick up, click a few times, and throw on a table for fun. But if you twisted the pen 3 to 4 times and then clicked the back, a poisoned needle would shoot from the tip, accurate up to 10. You didn't even have to get close to the victim, and North Korea had plenty of toxins to choose from, each more deadly than the last. Number 2. The mist gun. The KGB's cyanide mist gun is the stuff of nightmare. Disguised by wrapping it inside a newspaper, the assassin could walk right up to the target in public. As the agent passed by, he would lift the newspaper to the person's face and squeeze the trigger. A fine cloud of cyanide mist sprayed out. Within seconds, the victim would collapse, gasping for air, their lungs shutting down in real time. 2 Ukrainian men were assassinated with this exact method in the 19th, and that's exactly how the KGB wanted it. This weapon was silent, invisible, and perfect. Number 1. The heart attack gun. Now we reach the most terrifying spy weapon ever created. The year is 1972, and the United States is imploding under the Watergate scandal. Burglars tied to Nixon attempted to steal documents from the Democratic National Committee, leading to nationwide outrage and a demand for government transparency. Under pressure, intelligence agencies had to reveal numerous illegal operations, from mind control experiments to spying on civilians to attempted assassinations around the world. But among all the shocking revelations, one stood above the rest: the CIA's heart attack gun. This weapon looked like a handgun equipped with a scope, clearly designed for dramatic effect, but instead of firing bullets, it launched a frozen projectile, made of water mixed with shellfish toxin, one of the deadliest substances known to science. A lethal dose is the size of a poppy seed. The toxin caused a rapid heart attack, left no trace in the body, and completely mimicked natural cardiac failure. The ice dissolved, leaving no projectile behind, a perfect undetectable assassination tool. The CIA claimed, very confidently, that the weapon was never used. And of course, we all absolutely believe that. After all, intelligence agencies are known for transparency, honesty, and definitely not hiding their most terrifying inventions from the public.